So happy to have this session, and we will have a discussion on the theme for today, which is launching officially the International Day of Peace campaign, with the aim that this campaign uh, is to continue also further. So I call it a launching party. So as much as party that we can get these days, working from our homes, our offices, alternative spaces. It's great to meet everyone to launch the hashtag 7 billion strong, and we already gave a brief about it last week. But we really thought it's very important to meet everyone virtually to talk about the concept a little bit more, the thinking behind it, and the goal that we want to achieve together, but also mainly to start up a discussion that together we can deepen the concept, have a back and forth dialogue on it, and also listen to your inputs, feedback, and ideas to make it even stronger, because it says 7 billion strong. So we have to already start internally. I will share a small presentation. It is to emphasize the one pager that most of you hopefully have read or got around. I want to do that without all the technical difficulties that usually appear in the other Zooms. So hopefully that you can see my screen. Okay, here we go. So
We
if it
see it
didn't,
well, Raghda. Go ahead.
okay, that's perfect. And it, in case it didn't appear yet, it is loading with the, of course, the different internet speeds that we are all connected through. So our new hashtag, but you really realize, and I will give the statement to Art in a little bit about our masterpiece vision of seeing the world as a 7 billion talents and not 7 billion issues. So this hashtag is not really something new. It comes from already the MasterPeace vision for a long time. So we chose for hashtag 7 billion strong as our MasterPeace campaign. And the outcome of this webinar is to get an understanding of the campaign itself, to get some ideas, and as I mentioned, and also have a discussion about it. So we can see it's scheduled for an hour for now, but of course, when we are done, then we can go back to our work. And if we need longer, then we can stay, or we can have it as an individual talks. We are here to help and support. What we mean with the 7 billion strong. We had a lot of debates about the idea of what is strength to a person, what is the meaning of strong, and especially in the time that we live now, which is very unique on so many aspects, but also very um, um, heavy on so many of our communities, of our countries, of our where we live. But it showed really the best of us. It showed the strength of every individual. It showed the resilience of us as individuals and as a community. And in Masterpiece, we believe in the talents, resilience, and the value of each of us. So that is where the idea of the campaign, and it's not the strong as opposite to weak, but the strength of finding the resilience within, the strength that can be that to wake up tomorrow to do something. So it can be everything that we represent. So it's not this macho feeling of okay, I'm strong, but it's that is I'm resilient, I have my voice, I have my value. That is why we are 7 billion strong, and these cubes with the colors to show that there is a variation also of what strong does actually mean. Our idea is to collect the voices from the community. So that is why we have a very inclusive hashtag, that whatever type of activities you as Masterpiece Clubs, but also we are going to have an open invitation for our partners, for the public to join with their own creations, their own voices, their own project, under the umbrella of the hashtag 7 billion strong. And what we will do as a first milestone is that we will collect all these voices that had the statement of 7 billion strong, and give it as a present to the United Nations on their 75 years birthday. It is actually on the 24th of October that the UN was formed as the collective body of the world to create peace and collaboration between countries. And you can see that it was exactly the year of the end of World War II, which became also, as humans, we were thinking that collaboration or collective strength is what we can do to go forward. So on that day, it's a symbolic as well. We will hand the UN this collective community voices of 7 billion strong as our first milestone, but we really aim that, as we see in the timeline, that the campaign can go also further, that we can frame our activities under the hashtag 7 billion strong, which is also something that MasterPeace Vision believes in since the beginning. So that is the timeline that we are thinking about, and we can see how much the campaign is received, how much other organizations want to join. So it's a dynamic one that we launched it with the aim for it to actually stay further on. So how can you join? And it's also what I said, it is going to be a global call for different partners, for different organizations, schools, institutions to join in, because every voice counts. So we really aim that it turns into this global initiative or global community voicing. So everyone is welcomed. Everyone is invited to submit a picture, a video, a statement, to do an online event, to have a poem, or even to submit their just name, like Raghda, I'm strong, hashtag 7 billion strong, as just a statement that to belong to this global campaign. It is super simple, so you don't have to change whatever you planned for the International Day of Peace. And a lot of the organization, and we just had a call also with our new partners who are having an island of young people in Denmark, and they said this is exactly very easy for them to join, because it is the statement of that we are 7 billion strong and we are stronger together, as we always call it. So it is across social media. We will use the same hashtag, and then you can see, however, anybody around the world, what they are doing as part of their activities. So simple, easy to do, easy to access, and at the same time really generate and build this interactive platform that we show our voices around the world. We opened already the invitations since July, so I will stop sharing my presentation. And we have been already receiving some very positive feedback from our partners, and also in the regional calls with all of you, we had some first ideas, some first insights of, and we would love to hear more here. And I think, Art, when we had a walk together with Maria, it made a lot of sense, because this is the vision of MasterPeace in a hashtag. And that is also your statement. So as we talk, that I want to invite you to reflect, let's say, how much this hashtag fits with our vision, and also your presentation 2 days ago. I think the webinar was on Monday, that you also explained, and I will put on the link for people to see why we chose for this hashtag.
Yeah, thank you. Well, there is a strange aspect in the world, because there is, when you watch a television or on the internet, you see so many negatives. When you realize, most of you know I'm a proud grandfather these days, and who doesn't like his child best? And I'm also a child of my parents. Every child is beautiful. So everyone is beautiful, has a talent. And the negative, good news doesn't sell, we all know. But I'm convinced, and I think that was also in my opening in Tunisia, that we can outnumber the negative. So I think this idea, this simple concept of hashtag, technology enables this to curate all the statements. What you do, it's up to you. That's also the principle of MasterPeace. And yeah, I think together in 40 countries, we are already strong. Although we all, as individuals or as clubs, we really understand how vulnerable we are facing the challenges, especially in COVID time. COVID is a wake-up call. It puts the spotlight on all the weaknesses in our systems. So this needs to have an answer, and we cannot afford to be negative. We have to be, let's say, positive to create a future for ourselves and our children. And this, I think this hashtag is so simple to use, to aggregate. And we discussed the last 2 weeks with some potential partners, and yeah, it takes 10 seconds and you understand the principle. And they join. And our role models in the music, in the theater, and all your role models on a local level, ask them to join. It is as simple as that. And we will reach out to as high as possible and broad as possible in the UN. Because the UN is let's say, the founder of the Sustainable Development Goals. And in the session, the webinar that I joined last Monday, how can we bring grassroots and connect to the, let's say, the governments and the top level? I think to show on the Sustainable Development Goals that we contribute to them. And then, of course, our day and the crucial day, also with the racism, what you see in many countries now. My perception is this 21st of September is maybe the most important 21st of September ever, because the global system is under pressure. Society is under pressure. So it's now time to wake up and to use and to stand up. And I believe this is one, let's say, I always say we're a drop on a boiling plate. I think we can have million drops on a boiling plate now. So when you join, when we together join, when we join with all our partners, I know we have a media outreach, not to sell, but this is 100 million and plus. Together we can reach. And imagine that your message is taken to the UN at a certain level and to all UNDP offices, etc. I know we can do that. So I truly believe this is a campaign that puts a spotlight on the positive, on the potential, on the perspective. I think that's my encouragement and my deep belief.
Thank you, Art, very much for bringing it forward. And I really believe that, of course, a hashtag would never solve anything. But the idea is to create this feeling of unity around the world. And although COVID is a challenge, it's a huge challenge. And also I come from Egypt, and it's really challenging the systems, not only on healthcare sector, but on every level. And it's really highlighted or magnified what we always use in our discussions, but at the same time created this moment of unity worldwide, that for the first time something is facing the whole humanity. And I was talking to a friend in Yemen, and she said, yeah, Yemen is the worst place already for 7 years to be as a child or as a person, even in general. But for the first time that they feel that they face the same thing that everybody around the world has. Because usually, okay, it's Yemen is bad, but we continue living our countries with our own issues. But now it's a global moment. And what is highlighted also on racism is just, it highlights what already existed. It didn't create something new. So from the idea of the negative to the positive, of how can we use this moment to showcase the voices of people around the world in a unifying moment. And we, of course, might not reach the 7 billion people, but hopefully that we have this sentiment that everyone feels that they are strong, that they are valuable in their own way, that they have a talent, and then we see them, that we appreciate every single person because we know that they exist, because we value them. And even if we don't know their name, and even if we don't know their face, we know that they exist, and we have this appreciation to their resilience. So that is the intention of the campaign, and hopefully that it really fulfills its promise. But as we always promised you, that we wanted to have a dialogue, to have a discussion. Also, we are curious about your plans, if you have thought about it, for the International Day of Peace, which is, by the way, also the 10th anniversary that MasterPeace celebrates this International Day of Peace. So what you said, Art, that it is unique in so many ways, it is also for us. I'm opening the discussion, and I know, Maria, you will help us facilitate the questions and bring on board. Also, I want to hear from you with your voices and not only with the chat. So if you want to say something, please type in, and we will invite you to the floor to pose your question, your thought, your insight, and hopefully we make it interactive as possible, so I don't only talk to my laptop alone here.
Yes, that's it. Thank you, both of you. We are 25 people from probably around 20 countries right now, which is awesome. If you want to ask a question, reflect, share your point of view. I see Nico raising his hand. Yeah, go ahead, Nico.
All right, unmuted on my side. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I've been privileged to be part of Edward de Bono Institute, a very similar thing for a message to the United Nations recently. So what I was thinking about after reading the document, if there's any need, Raghda, I can put you in contact with the director of the Institute directly. I can forward some information about how it was done or the information relevant to that. There was only 50 participants globally, and it was very interesting, breaking up in small groups. It was a whole 3-hour session. The second thing I would like to share with you guys is the first opportunity, and so nice to see all of you. I'm not going to focus on Maria, I'll focus on our boss. The second thing I would like to say is that I was just appointed as the director for the School for Social Innovation in South Africa. And there's like huge platforms that I also can make use of for this in South Africa. That's all for now, besides being still stuck in the USA, as you probably all know. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nico. I'm definitely interested. So one-to-one, we can have the exchange of also to see what type of recommendations or paper or like that they submitted to the UN. That is very interesting for us. So I would definitely love that. And also, like, let's collaborate on this, because we really, as we said, not to repeat myself, we want to aggregate as much voices of societies as possible and bring more partners. So it's also an opportunity for us as MasterPeace to reach out to our network and their network through this hashtag or through this campaign. So perfect, and I hope that you can make it out of the US at one point back to South Africa. Thanks so much also for seeing you. It's great.
Thanks, Raghda.
Does anyone have an opinion to share? Any questions to ask? Taras is sharing. Your organizations are joining the campaign, definitely. That's awesome to hear. Is there anybody who's already started thinking about an event for an International Day of Peace? Have you already met with your teams and reflected on what you'd like to organize? In any case, from the coordinator's perspective, once you're developing your ideas, please share them. Over the course of these summer months, we're happy to think along with you, to brainstorm if necessary, to bring it into the campaign as we're still building towards it. There's plenty of room to be inspired from each other's ideas and to co-create this as we're moving towards September and onwards from there. Surita, I see you texting. Would you like to share ideas from India?
Hello.
Hi, Surita.
Everybody. Yes. Right. So we were thinking of a few things. One is this the quarantine and the pandemic, and we are approaching a lot of people to come out with a book, like a small book, half the size of a A4 size paper, and we want to have some images or drawings or writings from difficult places. Like few things we discussed yesterday was places like Afghanistan, like MasterPeace Afghanistan, then Croatia, as it's, and then Cameroon. So looking at a few places like that, and then making this book, which the cover of which will be made by individually by the girls in the garment training, the tailoring project. But they won't make it really, but they will be helped by the group of artists who will help them. So, and then to transform this design into kites, like then to have these pages into kites, and possible to fly these kites, and if these kites just fall suddenly on somebody's roof, they'll find something of a gift. Like they must be, it's a different kind of kite, then will become a different kind of a kite. So kite flying is positively on the World Peace Day. We like to sort of tie up with Alliance Française out here, and because they have a fantastic roof. If the lockdown is over by then we fly the kites, and maybe we will have a concert or something like that. So that's the idea. Even if the lockdown is on, then we can fly kites from each other's roof. So I shared this with Bangladesh. They kind of liked it, and Dr. Manu also likes it. So
Yeah.
that's something that we're planning to do. Carry messages on the kite, and when the kite falls on some stranger's roof, so we will be adding one more person into the chain. So that's
Thank
the
you
idea.
for sharing. Yes, indeed, MasterPeace Afghanistan has kicked off a project, and we had a meeting where they're also thinking about these kites that could be a symbol of resilience, that no matter what the wind is like, we're somehow finding our way to fly through it. And
exactly, but also the kite, the way the kite is made, like because the kite will have to carry messages from children who have been affected by violence of in Afghanistan, or maybe they have lost their livelihood or their loved ones or their limbs, and they still have a positive message about not giving up and going on. So these messages will have to be inscribed on the kites, and the kites have to fly, and the kites land up on somebody else's roof, so it carries a message from that person to a new person, so spreading hope in this time. So that's the basic idea of what the kite can bring.
Yeah, it's very beautiful, Sudhita. Thanks for sharing. It's also, it is very cultural also symbol. So the stronger the campaign is, when there is this local flavor that is very unique to a region, to a continent, or to a country, as a symbol of their resilience. And I remember at the beginning of the movement when Mansour back then and Masood came to us with the idea of the kites, and we thought, okay, what is the relevance with peace building? And that is 2011. And they, of course, for people who read the Kite Runner or familiar with it, the rope, the string is so sharp that it's used to cut the neck of people. So in a way, it was very simple way, a peaceful approach, but it was used or repurposed into violence. So you repurposing, let's say, that weapon at one time into a peace weapon, that was really interesting idea. And now we can see how it's really progressed into even using it to fly away and carry messages of peace. It's so powerful.
Absolutely. And the messages can, you see, if we have a pool of messages that flows, suppose a message from Afghanistan can end up on a kite in Croatia, or a message from Croatia can end up on a kite in Calcutta. So this cross-cultural, the kite itself has the message, but
That's
the message
right.
is not
Thank
from the
you,
same
Sita.
culture.
Sorry
It's
to
come from
cut you
another.
through here. Would love to hear more about your ideas, and we will, I'm sure. I see Santosh, he'd also like to share something from Nepal. Thank you, Sudita.
Hello, namaste, everyone. I'm really thankful to Raghda, Maria, and Art, and I'm really happy to see everyone, all the global family. Basically, for this year in IDP, we also are really thinking in some different ideas. So different idea means I have connection with some of the foundation in different countries. So one of the foundation in USA, they really like to working with me in this year. So the idea is that for this year, United Nations really like to collect the opinion, the teenagers' idea, what they really like to do in their future. So they just really wanted to collect the voice from around the world. So the foundation from USA, they are sending me some of the question. So we are going to organize as a dialogue with a teenager. So there are the age between 12 to 17, there is a teenager. So we will just inviting as a one platform about that dialogue, and they are asking some of the questions. So they just like, what kind of the future do we want to create? That's the first question. And second question, are we on track? And third question, what action are needed to bridge the gap? So this is the three questions. Basically, we are asking all those teenagers who are joining our dialogue, and we are recording all these the video. So when we record all this video, we are sending all this video to even through this foundation, which is working in the USA. So that's the idea from our side in this year IDP.
Santosh, that is really awesome and brilliant. And so the UN also has a message for this year, International Day of Peace, because we know that every year they have a theme. Their theme for actually this year is something similar about shaping a peace together. So they also adopted in a way what MasterPeace had as a slogan for a very long time already. They also, for the 75 years of the United Nations, posed the question about how the people, especially young people, see the future and the future of the UN. So that is really in tune so much with the dialogue that you are hosting, and this video statements, we are also interested in them, and we will come, of course, as we develop the campaign, that we want to collect from all of you guys and also our partners in the public, all these products. So whether it's these kites or these books or these videos, and we want to do a mashup, we don't know how, and we are brainstorming with some filmmakers and and also with you, of course. We're happy to hear the ideas, but we will collect this as the voice of the community to give to the UN. So your videos, the discussions, if they are writing a mandate, all of this is very, very relevant and very crucial, and this is what we aim to voice to the UN, but also to the world, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Raghda. And same time, definitely, every year we are celebrating International Day of the Peace event in Nepal. So this year, I really like to combine, with our idea and these ideas. So when I will combine, and I will share the email with you and Maria about how we are able to more, social media, and how we are able to collect more voice from the people, from the local community. So that's my pleasure to working all the MasterPeace teams.
Yeah, that's also Art's question to name the US Foundation. And as again we said, it is really an opportunity through this campaign and through this International Day of Peace to invite your partners to work on something, and as you said, to combine. And I think this is the name of the game. This is what we are trying to do, to reach out to all the partners that we worked with or we wanted to work with an excuse of saying, okay, we have this campaign that we want you to come in and join, so you can reach to the best role model that you have, to this awesome singer, like this awesome artist that you wanted to work with, or organization, say, join us for this campaign, bring them on board, and then you can create a collaboration hopefully afterwards with that. At least that is our trick, what we are doing.
Yeah. Definitely, Raghda. Thank you very much. And next week, I will going to. There is a group call with this foundation. This is basically this is a NGO IDP team. So that's educational team from the USA. So I will just hopefully first I will talk with this foundation, and I will talk with Art and Maria, probably we will just organizing the group call, and hopefully it will be one of the fruitful foundation from the USA for this our campaign as well. So that's possible from my side.
That is perfect. Dur is sharing. Thank you, Santosh. I know because we work together very closely. Also, shout out to to Colombian gang. I want you, Dur, to explain a little bit about the emotional literacy and through Actua,
Yeah.
that the program of caregivers, and also your awesome partnership with the UNIS Center. So yeah, please reveal this big news to everyone.
Yeah, I think we can share the. We have been working in Actua in the whole country, but in Medellin, we are focused more to train the leaders to teach them. Even for us, is also we are learning to teach them how to manage their emotions, because we don't know how to do it, and then conflicts appear, right? So we have studied many cases, and basically is if you don't know yourself and you don't know how to manage your emotion, then fight come up. So we are making like different types of expression of art, like storytellers. It's more like a small mini books with really cool storytellers. What else? Songs, like rap songs, explain how what is an emotion, like fear, envy, frustration. So there are 44, but we're gonna share 10 at least for this semester. Love also is one of the emotions that we don't know how to manage. And then it is helping a lot to the leaders in here, and then there are teaching that to their community. So probably that day we can choose maybe 5 or 4 of the emotions, and then we share what to do with that, how to deal with that. I think it's a great idea that everybody will learn and also give us a feedback how they are managing that. That is one of the things that we can share. Also, we can share our contacts in Mexico from the UN, from the Latin American, the Secretary of Latin America and the UN. I can put you in touch also. And the Junior Center, there are in universities, about 60 universities. They are working very hard for the SDG #1. For peace building, yes, hunger and poverty. Poverty, like, yeah. So I can share that contact with you, because there are in many universities that maybe we could do something together, I will say. And also, I'm not sure, maybe I can talk with the rest of the team in Colombia if we can bring any of our partners about peace building. And I know that in Colombia, you know, when you speak about peace, well, but probably we can get like a private partner that we already have here to I don't know, do something with them, like one of the partners who were in the bootcamp with us, or one of the government, like the peace table. We have something here, like it's called the Office of the Peace Table. So maybe we can try to bring them to the campaign.
That is definitely, and I love the idea of how to deal with the different emotions, and I think that is also the UN Secretary General a couple of weeks ago said that the government has 2 challenges to face. One is on the mental and psychological challenges related to COVID, but also that has been accumulating in societies, and the economic gap. So really there is a growing sentiment of how can we what you wrote, the emotion intelligence, how can we work with these emotions using art as a methodology. That is also what MasterPeace does, so that is very relevant. The UN context regionally is also very powerful, because as we want to what Art said, to reach to the highest in the UN, we also can do it regionally, or and so as we go for the global, also regionally get in touch with your local UN in the country, or the local UN of the region, the different agencies of the UN, so we can really make our statement more heard. And all of them are kind of connected, so they really we will mobilize also on social media and tag them, so we will go full on everywhere. bring the voices out there. And Noor, again, it's very relevant to the partner. So when you think it is interesting for them and us to connect on a global level, please share also on a local level if this helps your projects going further on. It is the excuse to bring them on board. Thanks, Noor.
Thank you, Noor, for sharing. Meanwhile, I've been chatting with Jacques from DR Congo, who said it will be the first experience for him to run the International Day of Peace in Congo, but he is going to go back to his team and brainstorm together to collect the proposals of other members, and he's excited to join the campaign. We'll try to be fully inclusive. It's not easy to do a English-French session over here, but trying to overcome the language barrier. Does anybody else have anything to add? Maybe we can bring 1-2 questions to the floor. Yes, Liridona, you have your hand up.
I would just like to say that I really like the idea, and we have our BMN club. We work with young boys and girls from high schools in promoting gender equality and other positive attitudes within the society. So maybe we could prepare a nice activity and film it, and then we can share it with you so that you can screen it on your club's pages as well. But we can also do, I will also discuss it with the other members of the team, and then we can see what else we could do, or what things we could include in this video so that we could share it with you and with other members here. And I will try to, I know some people at the UN office here in Kosovo, so maybe I could have some meetings with them and see what we could do together, how they could help us in organizing this activity and making something good for this day.
2 thumbs up. Thank you, Liridona, and it's a great idea, because also this is one of the key SDGs we are working on, and your team is really focused on in different countries, as you met some of the colleagues working on it. So having also this concrete, and I know the idea of the BMen's Club to, as we always say, to empower women and educate men, and it's both of them are needed into that process. So that is brilliant idea. And again, work with the local UN and bring these voices of the young women and men in the community. And Kosovo is such a important hold also, where the UN had a lot of interactions and activities in that country. So that is amazing, and it's great to have Kosovo as part of our celebrations this year. We have wanted this moment for a very long time. So thanks you guys for joining in.
Hey, Raghda, maybe to add, Raghda, we just had a call with the representative of City Transformers, which is mainly on SDGs and especially cities. They represent 40 cities by origin, but now have access to 100 cities, and they will partner in this event, and they will use also 7 billion strong hashtag. They will have, let's say, a live activity on an island in Denmark. They will join us in creating content and hand over to UN departments. They already have access to 10, quite, let's say, not the top, not let's say a very local, but regional. So they will join forces. Next week we will have a call with ISAC, the International Students Organization. So when we get this snowball running, I think it can be awesome. And we will use also their website. And as most of you know, we do have a partnership with Ubiquity University on the Ubiverse. Please have a look at it. And they will also broadcast our content. We will still have to figure out how long, what. Maybe sunrise to sunset, we will figure out. But this is also a channel, and they do have 20 Facebook outlets, let's say, to broadcast. Mm-hmm. So no doubt we will be a big part of that one on the 21st of September.
Yeah, adding to the idea, so and they are a global movement of city transformers, and we are figuring out how to partner, but we are using the 7 billion strong as a starting point to overlap and see where is the match. So they are going to adopt this hashtag as their main umbrella of the activities, and it's a cool idea. In Denmark there's a whole island for young people to come from representatives from around the world to debate, to think together, to discuss on the SDGs. But their aim also is to have this as a global ambassadorship from different cities around the world. They will showcase our activities on the island. So we will work on how we can screen the kite flying in the middle of nowhere in Denmark. That would been cool as well, but it is also to show our strength with the different partners that we have. What Art mentioned on the Ubiquity University, and Maria, probably you shared a lot about Ubiverse already, and everybody goes to join. It has a lot of interesting modules on different topics, so that is something to check. Just to explain to you that we are bringing a lot of partners and a lot of enthusiasm to the table, new insights, and some of them of course will turn into something bigger, and some we will see, because it's also every partner matter. It's again 7 billion strong, so no matter how big or small the partnership, we will go for it. Are we having a next one? Oh, we have a question to Juan. By the way, were you the second leader of ISEC, right, Juan? I remember you were with my best friend, who was Egyptian, so I'm a bit proud, leading ISEC at some years, but a bit long time ago. So which year was that with Dalia?
Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of back noise. The street vendors. Yes, I was in ISEC in the global board in 2008, 2009. Yeah, so it's fantastic that we are going to cooperate then. And yeah, on Juanes, yeah, I mean, like he has been like very into emotional. We were talking right now, like internally, like it is fantastic because we were listening the proposal of Dur about sharing the stories of resilience, let's say, because resilience makes us strong, and resilience is a global concept, and it is something that for example, Juanes is working on, like a special album to project stories of resilience. So maybe we can talk about it with him, because it has all to do. Yeah.
It's super cool idea. So Juanes is a very famous role model and a singer in Latin America, and always and from Colombia. So a proud Colombian. I say he's in Shakira in Colombia. Well, Shakira is a bit more, made it a bit more famous. But so the idea is really cool to collaborate, let's say, of the stories of resilience as he's making his music, and maybe we can bring some resilient stories from, or inspirations from around the world to his content. But it's also, Juan, we have been struggling, let's say, of how can we bring Juanes and other role models, because we are thinking about Emmanuel Jal, for the older MasterPeacers. Probably you have maybe remember him, and other artists in Bollywood and so on, to bring them with this statement, so they can give a statement on I support you guys, and hashtag 7 billion strong, or I see every person as a so it is a way to involve ambassadors. So that can be a proposition to him, as we are thinking of how can we involve him or reintegrate him in the movement, but also inspirations for his next album. That is really a cool idea, that he can get inspirations, stories from around the world, and build on it for his content or his creative process as well. Super cool. I think we might go for the last question, Maria, because of the time. I saw that you wanted to keep it
Yes,
that short.
there's plenty of thoughts. I'm sure we could continue the discussion for a while, but let's take one for the purpose of this questions and answer session. Would anybody like to express themselves?
Maybe a question is Sharon still in the call or not?
Yes, she is. I see
Yeah,
her.
Sharon, I think I saw you.
Stefan, I want to say something.
Hi, Stefan. Please go, Stefan.
Stefan from Guinea.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone.
Fun.
Hello. Stefan. Okay.
Sorry, Stefan.
I cannot Stefan either.
That I have.
Back.
That's why keep going.
Sorry, Stefan, we cannot. Yeah, we cannot mute as well. So. Okay.
And the connection cut.
Yeah. So sorry, Stefan. Maybe you can type it in the chat, or also, of course, when there is a connection, you can call me, Maria, or Door. So whatever with your idea.
Yeah, sorry. No, the connection seems to be unstable. We hear a word and then it's
and we can hear so.
Hello.
Sorry, dear.
Okay.
Hey, Sharon, I can see you now. Hi.
Hi.
I know you have a great network on the US university. So
yes.
Maybe you and other clubs can also think about, okay, what is your network? And maybe they can do an activity. I think that everyone is interested to do something. So maybe you can talk to the teachers and, you know, the great ones. So maybe it's an idea.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, definitely. I'll reach out to some of the lecturers that I'm in touch with now that I've finished school. But yes, I'll get in touch with them and then, of course, let you know what we've come up with. But thank you.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, Sharon. And I think with that was the last question. But of course, it is only this small window. But at the same time, we are available all the time. And we are, as we said, we are happy to co-create this together, to build on your ideas, also to bring this to the partners of what different countries are doing within MasterPeace. We're happy to brainstorm with you. Nico, is there something very quickly? Muted? Can you? Oh, ask unmute. Okay.
Are you there? Okay.
Yes.
Just a question. My involvement here with Princeton University, given what Art said now to Sharon, will I overstep any boundaries or can I also contact my network here at the university?
Absolutely. The more networks, the better.
All right, great
It's
stuff.
not our ownership. The 7 billion own their future.
There are no boundaries, really.
No, the more, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I now know one in Estonia as well.
Yeah. I wonder who.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. No, I mean, we were very happy. We recorded this session also for your teams and the other MasterPeace clubs who couldn't make it. And I received some messages also from Mansour and everyone saying hi. And of course, it's an ongoing process, so feel free to share this again with your team, and get them also involved with your partners if needed. The next steps to also take you through a little bit. Hopefully Benta is still there from the MasterPeace team. She is still working on an awesome design. No pressure, Benta. So we will slowly launch our design for the campaign and the artwork that is first, and create a manual that is easy for you to reuse these materials. We will help you with a small toolkit that we will prepare of some ideas of what you can do on that day, some hashtags, some different brainstorms across the project, some statements that you can use, so we can make it a little bit more concrete. We are in the background brainstorming on what type of gift we should give to the UN, how it will look like with the talents that we have with filmmakers, also with Gabby, our own in-house filmmaker, future filmmaker, to help in the process. So we will roll out step by step different materials, different toolkits, different updates about the campaign. But in the meantime, we invite you to sit down with your team if you haven't done already, or continue building towards the 21st of September. Of course, given to the context of your country, is it what type of state is there, lockdown or not, a blended model of online or not? It's up to you, with respect to the community, as much as involvement you can do, as much as role models and also partners you can bring in. That is from our side. We're really excited, and now it made it so concrete, and it's hard to brainstorm only with 1.5 meters away from each other. We don't always keep that rule, at least in the office, and behind the computer. But now we see that there's a lot of enthusiasm, and we will build this together. And as Art said, I would love to end with, it's an ownership. It is your campaign. It is your community's campaign. So own it, bring your flavor, bring your ideas, and it's as inclusive as possible. It's just a hashtag and everything is possible underneath that. That's from my side. And yeah, I feel very inspired, which is always the case, but.
Same here, energized and ready to kick this off. Thank you everybody for joining. 7 billion strong, super strong. Thank you. Have a nice morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. See you. Bye.